Good evening and welcome to Nationwide. I am Kene Emma Aborike. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, for a state visit. Let's now join Pam in Makurdi Network Center for details.
Welcome to Makurdi. In continuation of his tour of crisis-affected states, President Muhammadu Buhari was in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, to have first-hand knowledge of the security situation and hold consultations. The president, who arrived at about 11 a.m. at the Makurdi military air base, was received by the Benue State Governor, Samuel Otom. From the airport, the president proceeded to the government house, where he had a meeting with top government officials, including Governor Samuel Otom, the representatives of farmers in Benue State, Miyetti Allah, livestock guards, and the Benue State Joint Socio-Cultural Group, the Mzowu Tiv, Idoma National Forum, and Ominyi Gede. President Muhammadu Buhari assured the people the administration is committed to finding a lasting solution.
What I would appeal is a question of you in your various constituencies to apply for restraint. Myself and the governor and some of you who hold public office will go. But the relationship between cattle herders and the farmers in Benue State will continue beyond us as it was before us. This is the reality of the situation. And it's fall on you as the leaders of the various communities you come from to keep on in touch and keep on leading them and advising them to live peacefully.
Benue State Governor Samuel Otom, other dignitaries and representatives who stated the president's concern for the security situation in the state, but called for more proactive measures by security agencies and respect for the rule of law.
It was clear to us that the increased population, shrinking arable land, global warming, and desertification, as well as the need to diversify the economy through farming or make open grazing unattractive. Through consultation and research, we discovered that the global best practice for animal husbandry is ranching.
My advice is that we should think of redesigning the security architecture of the nation in such a way that the states get involved. The national governments are also brought into the picture.
President Buhari has since left Makurdi for Abuja. And that will be it from Makurdi. It's now back to Abuja for the rest of Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Pam. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria have urged Nigerian government to be firm and resolute in articulating its issues of development with the visiting UAE Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria stated this while discussing the scheduled visits of the United States Secretary of State to Abuja for his first official engagement to Nigeria. Lydia Sampson reports.
The guests say the visit may not be unconnected with the efforts by the Donald Trump administration to correct the damage done to African countries in some of his derogatory remarks about the continent.
Sending Rex Tillerson out, it's mostly to offer an olive branch to Africa because the last 1 year or 15 months of the Trump administration has not been very friendly to Africans.
We need our president, however, to stand up for Africa, to stand up for black people, and keep on registering the fact that these things are unacceptable. It's not enough to change glasses and do all the diplomatic nice talk. These are things that should worry.
While describing the visit of the Secretary of State to Nigeria as a welcome development, the guests urged officials to be firm in discussing issues on the table to ensure maximum benefits for the country.
We are today at the crossroads in terms of, globalization and the relationship between races and peoples. If you look at the dynamics between races today, we have to now, as Nigeria, speak for the black people in the world.
The experts urge America to join in the climate change global efforts, recharging the lake chart as well as upholding the human rights values for which America is acclaimed leader. The U.S. Secretary of State will hold talks with President Muhammadu Buhari to discuss counter-terrorism efforts and humanitarian issues in the Northeast, among others. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Nigerian High Commissioner to Australia and the Oceania, Ambassador Bello Husseini Kazaure, has urged the Republic of Fiji to take advantage of Nigeria's economic diversification policy led by agriculture to further enhance economic ties between the two countries. Ambassador Kazaure was presenting letter of credence to the President of the Republic of Fiji, Major General George Konesi Konrote, retired, as a non-resident ambassador at the government house in Suva. The Nigerian envoy said being an agriculture-driven economy, the Republic of Fiji can partner with Nigeria for mutual benefit. He restates Nigeria's commitment to promote social, economic and political ties with Commonwealth countries in order to achieve the ideals of the organization. The colorful event, which included guard of honor and official reception, also featured presentation of souvenir to the Nigerian High Commissioner, whose concurrent accreditation oversees Australia, New Zealand and other countries in the Oceania. Lagos, the center of excellence, is next on our lineup. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello, Kene, and thanks for joining us in Lagos. After a series of engagements, complaints, and heated debates at various fora over the newly reviewed land use charge in Lagos State, Governor Akinwumi Ambode says the government is open to further discussion with stakeholders in estate management, property owners, and the organized private sector to address gray areas in the law. The governor stated this while answering questions from journalists in Lagos. Musa Tolia reports.
Governor Akinwumi Ambode said the land use charge law is not meant to bring untold hardship on Lagos residents, but to harmonize the tenement rate, ground rent, and neighborhood improvement levy in the state. He, however, stressed that the state government is not unmindful of the agitations in various quarters over the land use charge. Governor Ambode therefore assured Lagos residents and the organized private sector that the complaints generated by the law will be addressed.
We're a very responsive government. We're very sensitive. At the end of the day, governance is about people, it's about what they want. When I say I want dialogue, I really mean it. And I'm ready to respond to that. By the end of this week, we should be able to come out with something positive that actually ameliorates the issues being raised by concerned stakeholders.
Meanwhile, the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Imoimin Edgar, has invited members of the Nigeria Bar Association Ikeja branch to a roundtable discussion to work out modalities on the proposed protest by the NBA over the land use charge law.
It's their constitutional right to stage peaceful protests, to articulate their opinions and their grievances. However, we intend to ensure that the routes that they have followed are not routes where the protests can be hijacked, where security of the state can be compromised.
Stakeholders in property management and the organized private sector have consistently requested that the implementation of the new land use charge be put on hold until the gray areas in the law are sorted out. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
The first infection prevention and control curriculum has been developed in the country. This is to educate health workers on safety measures against the spread of infectious diseases amongst patients and health workers in the country. Amaka Owa reports that the curriculum was presented to the public at the close of the development project training held in Lagos.
The curriculum, drafted within 18 months, consists of basics of microbiology, elements of standard in-depth precaution, and transmission-based precautions to provide health workers with skills and competence in the prevention and transmission of diseases. This action was necessitated by the outbreak of infectious diseases, which claimed the lives of patients and medical personnel across the country.
We also have a module that deals specifically with special areas of health facilities that infection prevention and control needs to be looked into.
Training of about 22 infection prevention control experts, which lasted for 6 months, earn them diploma certificates. It is to enable them train other health workers through communication, improved patient care and behavioral change.
What we're also doing is ensuring that if we have an antimicrobial, an organism that is resistant in a patient, it does not become a facility problem. Then we contain it.
Representatives of the National Center for Disease Control and the United States Center for Disease Control stressed the need for improved hygienic conditions in hospitals and urged health workers to adopt universal preventive safety measures to avoid contracting infectious diseases in the course of treating patients. Participants were also trained to produce alcohol-based hand rub for hand hygiene. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Former Head of State General Yakubu Gowon has emphasized the need for Nigerians to promote peace and unity in the country. He said this at a program organized by the Foursquare Gospel Church in Lagos.
The event with the theme, How Can You Escape?, is a warning especially to the Christendom to walk circumspectly. General Yakubu Gowon emphasized the need for prayers, especially at this crucial time in Nigeria. He also informed Nigerians to be more accommodating and tolerant of each other.
You've got to be sincere to God and ask for God's direction to be able to touch your mind, to touch your heart, to do the right thing and good thing for the country.
The General Overseer of the Foursquare Gospel Church in Nigeria, Reverend Felix Midoway, said the event is aimed at promoting unity and love amongst ethnic groups in Nigeria and beyond.
We are actually saying the gospel of Jesus Christ, all right, is to all mankind, that we should preach the gospel to every nation, all right, and by nation there it means ethnic groups. And of course, these are different ethnic groups that are coming to showcase what God is doing in their life.
This program is to tell us, live holy, stay holy, and be righteous.
The event also featured special renditions in different languages, which attracted some other countries. In Lagos, Paul Omukago, NTA News.
Officers and men of the Nigerian Army have been urged to be more dedicated and committed to work in order to surmount security challenges confronting the country. This remark was made by the General Officer Commanding 81 Division, Major General Enobong Udo, at this year's West African Social Activities organized by the 9th Brigade Ikeja Cantonment. Ingenieur John Adams tells us more.
The life of a soldier is not all about combatant activities. The West African Social Activities WASA is an avenue for the military to move away from their regimental life to an atmosphere where they socialize and ease tension from the outgoing year. This year's WASA, organized by the 9th Brigade, was colorful. Soldiers and their families displayed various talents, which include performance by the military band, cultural dances, as well as culinary skills. The brigade commander 9 Brigade, Brigadier General Elias Atu, described this year's theme as appropriate.
Cultivating avenue to enhance oneness and togetherness amongst troops. His theme was carefully articulated, having known that Nigerian Army is a total reflection of the entity called Nigeria.
The General Officer Commanding 81 Division, Major General Enobong Udo, represented by the Chief of Staff, Brigadier General Hamisu Hassan.
WASA and other social events organized in the Army are directed at reducing social tensions and stress to enable us to revive and face the future with more zeal and commitment.
The bonfire signaled the end of this year's WASA. The barracks community is looking forward to a more fulfilling year. In Lagos, Ingenieur John Adams, NTA News.
And those are top stories from Lagos at this hour. Over now to Kenneth for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Elizabeth. As the federal government places the mining industry on the frontier of its economic recovery growth plan, agencies under the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development have been advised to work hard to be patriotic enablers in the realization of this confidence. Minister of Mines and Steel Development Kayode Fayemi gave the advice while inaugurating chairmen and members of 4 agencies under the ministry's supervision. They are the Nigerian Geological Survey Agency, National Steel Raw Materials Exploration Agency, National Metallurgical Development Center, and the Council of Nigerian Mining Engineers and Geoscientists.
Contribution to GDP from 103 billion in 2015 to 141 billion in 2020, at an average annual growth rate of 8.54%. Consequently, the ministry has been selected as one of the critical players in the economic recovery and growth plan. As you join our team, you will find that as a family, we have developed a culture of transparency, accountability, and inclusion in the governance of this sector.
You are watching Nationwide on NTA. We'll pause for some messages. The news continues thereafter.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Engineering, science and technology for development. That is our focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week as experts prefer solutions. NTA Tuesday Live, incisive and educative. Don't miss it.
NTA Television College, Jos, an affiliate of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, is organizing a 4-week course in Principles and Practice of Marketing. We hold from 19th March to 13th April 2018. Course fee 100,000 naira per participant. Accommodation inclusive. Venue for both courses will be the NTA Television College, Rayfield, Jos. Both courses are specially designed to hone the skills of participants in the dynamic broadcast media space. The Broadcast Media Management Technique course targets participants from grade level 10 to 15 and shall deal with critical management functions that affect job performance. Principles and Practice of Marketing course has been packaged to help participants acquire relevant knowledge and skills in all aspects of digital marketing, public relations, market research, strategies and management. For further enquiries, contact 0806 908 9807, 0703 660 7155 or email ntacollege@gmail.com. NTA Television College, training you to be the best you can be.
At the end of 2017, the Buhari administration delivered a number of unprecedented achievements. Generated power has gone up to 7,000 megawatts in 2017 from 3,000 megawatts in May 2015. More than 1.6 trillion naira has been spent on infrastructure for roads, bridges, housing, dams and railways. Nigeria moved up 24 places on the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business rankings and earned a place on the list of top 10 reformers in the world. Today, 5.2 million primary school children in 28,249 schools in 19 states are receiving a free meal daily. Our customs service recorded its highest ever revenue collection of 1 trillion naira in a single year. Our foreign exchange reserves grew by $12 billion, reaching the highest level since 2014. We added $250 million to the Sovereign Wealth Fund and officially moved out of recession.
Thank you for staying with us on Nationwide. Ruth has the next set of stories in Jos Network Center. Hello, Ruth.
Hello, Kenneth. Good evening and welcome to Jos. Over 130 youth trained in agriculture and vocational skills under the National Youth Empowerment for Sustainable Livelihood have been challenged to use the skills acquired to boost their lives and better the nation's economy. Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Solomon Dalung, gave the charge at the closing ceremony of a 2-week training for unemployed youth drawn from the Northeast and Central Zone. Bilkisu Nuhu has more.
Described as one of the vulnerable groups which constitute about 42% of unemployed group in the society, the Federal Ministry of Youth and Social Development designed the Youth Empowerment Program with the aim of skill training and entrepreneurship development. The areas of training are leather works, bead making, makeup artistry, confectionery and pastries, crop production, aquatic and livestock farming. Minister of Youth and Social Development Solomon Dalung said, when youths are gainfully employed, incidents of crime will drastically reduce as they are full of creativity and energy, which must be harnessed to its full potentials.
We are particularly delighted that our youths have embraced entrepreneurship as a means of employment by their full and enthusiastic participation in the Youth Empowerment Program.
Coordinator of the program, Mrs. Omotade Olushola, stated that the participants have undergone various trainings and will no doubt boost the nation's GDP and called on stakeholders to support and patronize their product. Some of the participants bared their minds on the program.
Through poultry farming, you can be able to employ people if you grow.
Try our best and impact the knowledge we've gotten from here.
Certificates and prizes were given to the participants in Jos. Bilkisu Nuhu, NTA News.
Women have been told to be bold and speak up against any acts that violate their rights. Chairperson of the Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, Plateau State Chapter, Mrs. Jennifer Yerima, said this during a visit to the internally displaced persons camp, Bukuru, as part of activities to mark the International Women's Day. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
The women movement came together under the aegis of International Women's Peace Group to mark the International Women's Day. At the Stephanos Foundation IDP camp, the need to give voice to the voiceless took center stage as these women leaders encouraged the IDPs to keep hope alive in spite of their predicament.
If we come together, if we collaborate and synergize, we are going to add value on the life of these women. We are going to put smiles on their faces.
You are the ones that have suffered as victims of war. So we want to come and join hands with you to stop war and promote peace.
That in every allocation, in every budgeting, that the government should remember you and take you back to your community.
In line with the theme for this year's celebration, Press for Progress, the women were reminded of their role as nation builders, and the call is for them to stand up for their rights.
We want to ensure that there is peace among everyone. Without an inclusive society, we cannot achieve this peace. Start by helping a woman, supporting a woman.
Gift items were handed over to the women, who in turn thanked the different organizations for their help and support. To further press home the message that women and girls must not be subjected to any form of inhuman treatment, the various women groups walked on the major streets of Bukuru metropolis for their voices to be heard. In Jos, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
The increasing number of people, especially the youth, involved in drug abuse and its attendant consequences is a source of concern to many, calling for synergy amongst key players to check the trend. To this end, the Badge A Corps members serving with the news department of the NTA Network Center, Jos, organized a one-day lecture to sensitize students on the dangers of drug abuse and alcoholism. Bilkisu Nuhu has more.
In Nigeria,
40% of youths are said to be in substance abuse, which has placed a burden on the country's socio-economic and healthcare sectors. The 3 core members, Halimat Shaibu, Georgina Umaru, and Hawa Tafida, in their remark presented by the team leader Halimat Shaibu, said they discovered a number of youths in Plateau indulge in illicit drug and alcoholism, hence the need to focus on the adolescent and youth.
Why we focus on adolescent and the youth is because they are in their early stage of life, and it's important for them to be well informed on the danger of drug abuse and alcoholism.
Crimes that are committed in our society, 85% of them are committed with the use or under the influence of alcohol.
Zonal Director NTA Network Center Jos Nuruddin Adeshina Idris and Jos South NYSC Local Government Inspector Lydia Samson Mashat commended the organizers for the initiative.
And imagine a case of somebody who has gone through what they have gone through, getting up to university level, about graduating, and he fell into this kind of a thing, and he starts walking around the street. Drug has spoiled his life. Yours will never be like that at gospel.
Speaking on the theme, drug abuse and alcoholism, stakeholders took turns to address the consequences, implications, and ways of combating the menace. The students were also taught on how to make liquid soap and room freshers by the core members. In Jos, Bilkis Nuhu, NTA News.
And that's it from Jos. It's back to you, Kenneth, for the rest of the news nationwide.
Thank you, Ruth. Though states remain the key actors in the fight against terrorism, the growing pressure for heightened international cooperation has become critical to the development of effective anti-terrorist measures. Olajide Bello reports that this was brought to the fore by the former commander of the Sri Lankan Navy, Vice Admiral Travis Sinha, at a lecture to the Block 7 course 26 participants of the National Defense College.
The global challenges facing the international community transcend state capabilities to deal with effectively as autonomous entities. Increased mobility of terrorists across borders, acquire resources in numerous states, and access advanced communication system makes it asymmetric in nature. Therefore, to suppress terrorism, states need to put aside political differences and combat threats as one cohesive force with global security in mind.
Terrorists have gone to the stage where the military itself has to get involved, and not just paramilitaries. The military gets involved in the fight. And today, we are fighting a 4th generation war against non-state actors. So, the conventional warfighter or the state military itself has to start rewriting its doctrine to cater to the new form of war.
In the case of terrorism and insurgency, we must equally be prepared to adopt unconventional approach, both in tactics and in weaponry, within the limits of acceptable norms and practices.
Upgrade of weapons and platform inventory, adequate and up-to-date training, as well as tactical and strategic thinking were identified as pivotal to successful conduct of counter-insurgent operations. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Now, the Ogun State Command of the Nigerian Police has paraded 34 suspects, including a retired soldier, for various criminal offenses. The Commissioner of Police warned criminally minded persons to relocate or be dealt with. Lukman Adefeso reports.
The Operation Criminal Mop-Up embarked upon by the Ogun State Police Command led to the arrest of the 34 suspects, large catcher of arms and ammunition. The suspects were paraded for crimes ranging from armed robbery, impersonation, cultism, kidnapping, murder, and car snatching.
So, I'm Warrant Officer Ali.
Are you still in service?
No, sir. I retired 5 months ago.
Why are you still working?
Yes, sir. They no pay me gratuity and pension, and I use this uniform to do escort to get myself the eat.
Now, one of my friends come meet me that I step and drive 1 month to Atilesha. But I fall and go there, she go give me money. But I don't know that it's a stolen vehicle.
The Commissioner of Police Ogun State Command, Ahmed Iliasu, explained that through intelligence gathering and partnership with the people, there is no hiding place for the criminally minded in the state.
We are now taking the battle into their den. We are not allowing you to come out to perpetrate any acts or foster any violence on anybody. But
He commended his officers and men for their commitment to rid the state of criminals.
This is Nationwide. Time to link with the Barbary in Port Harcourt for more stories.
Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose has commended Governor Nyesom for himself among his peers through the execution of life impacting projects in River State. Governor Fayose gave the commendation while inaugurating 3 roads in Port Harcourt metropolis. Okay.
We apologize for the loss of audio quality from the Port Harcourt zone. Now, let's tell you that the Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Representative Abdurrazak Namdas, has described the relationship between the media and Parliament as significant to the growth of democracy. He was speaking at a dinner and award night organized by the House of Representatives Press Corps. Ignatius Onkwo reports.
It was the maiden edition of the House of Representatives Press Corps Dinner and Award Night. The attendance bore a vivid expression of the relationship existing between the House of Representatives Press Corps and the legislators they cover. Apart from the dining and wining which the event provided, the Press Corps awarded some of the legislators, with Uzoma Nkem Abonta leading the pack as the Legislator of the Year.
Of course, the committee set a credible criteria, including but not restricted to the numbers and quality of bills and motions sponsored.
Deputy Speaker Yusuf Lasu was recognized as the doyen of constituency projects. Representative Abdurrazak Namdas was also honored as the ambassador of the Press Corps.
I think I will encourage my colleagues that please they should not be running away from the members of the media. Each time they come to us and say, look, they want to make clarification, we should have the time to give them the opportunity to listen to them.
The award was extended beyond the National Assembly as some chief executive of government agencies were also recognized, including Muhammad Mukhtar Abdullahi, the chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, as the most responsive chief executive officer. From the International Conference Center, Abuja, Ignatius Onkwo, NTA News.
We now go for another break on Nationwide. Please do not go away.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just may have us. Even now, so if they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy, may they stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
3,346 medals are up for grabs at the first National Grassroots Sports Festival, Sports for All, to discover sports talent, develop future world champions, and rejuvenate sports in Nigeria. Date 19th to 29th of April 2018. Venue, National Stadium Abuja, packages A and B. This is an opportunity for state governors to promote their achievements and for companies to promote their brand with 24 individual and team sports. For broadcast sponsorship, contact Angelo Peter I. Elosia, Chairman and Chief Coordinator, or Nick Onyisi. Organizers, Grassroots International Sports Academy and LOP Worldwide Television. Endorsed by the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development. Broadcast partner, NTA, the largest television network in Africa.
You're watching Nationwide. Nigeria Zero Hunger Forum meets in Maiduguri on the vision of ending hunger by 2025. Jumei has details and other stories in Maiduguri.
Kene, and you're welcome to Maiduguri. Nigeria Zero Hunger Strategic Forum has again stressed commitment to ending hunger by the year 2025 through food sufficiency and livelihood support. The forum stressed this commitment in its third meeting chaired by the forum's chairman, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, Governor Kashim Shettima, the deputy governors of Ogun and Oyo State, alongside other dignitaries in attendance. Yagum Subukar reports.
The Nigeria Zero Hunger Strategic Forum meeting brought together states of Benue, Borno, Ebonyi, Ogun, Sokoto and Kebbi states reviewed a number of successes recorded by individual states towards building food sufficiency with a target to ending hunger by 2025. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo had, while declaring the meeting open, applauded the participating states for their effort towards reviving the agricultural sector in their various states. He maintained that the insecurity bedeviling the Northeast was partly due to unemployment as stated by some repentant insurgents, and further stressed the determination of Zero Hunger Forum towards addressing the menace through agriculture. Governor Kashim Shettima informed the forum that despite the security challenges, the state government was able to introduce policies and programs geared towards repositioning the agricultural sector to address challenges of security. There were goodwill messages from the deputy governors of Ebonyi, Ogun, representatives of Benue State Government and that of Minister of Agriculture, FAO, WFP, and international institutions of tropical agriculture. Borno State Commissioner of Agriculture, Mohammed Dili, and that of Poverty Alleviation and Youth Empowerment, Inna Galadima, presented papers on the status of their ministries and achievements recorded so far. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
Towards ensuring schools in Borno State are secured, the Nigerian police force and stakeholders in the education sector have met to discuss modalities to adopt renewed security measures. Jesse Tafida tells us more.
Following the recent attack on Federal Government Girls Science Secondary School Dapchi in Yobe State and subsequent abduction of 110 students, various measures are now being taken by government at all levels to prevent reoccurrence. Deputy Inspector General of Police Habila Joshak, who represented the Inspector General of Police, called on the education sector to assist security agencies with information so as to tackle security issues. He said, education is the key to success in life and therefore called on people to be security conscious and alert security personnel on suspicious movement as they will be deployed to schools. Commissioner for Higher Education Ahmed Jaha applauded the effort of President Muhammadu Buhari for the deployment of the Inspector General to the Northeast. On his part, Commissioner for Education Musa Inu Akubo also commended the President for changing the face of security agencies in Nigeria and his commitment towards the deployment of more security personnel to the Northeast. Contributing, Assistant Commandant General Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Zakari Ibrahim Ningi called on school principals to take security issues seriously. Meanwhile, the DIG has inspected some schools in the state and later proceeded to Auno Primary and Secondary School to assess the level of security put in place.
To take an assessment if the security on ground is as it were, and it is the one that can guarantee safety of this school.
Indeed, all hands must be on deck to ensure that students and schools are being protected, as education is the key to success. From Auno, I am Jesse Tafida, NTA News.
That's our package from Maiduguri. Kene, it's over to you.
Thank you, Jumei. Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Obonaya Ono, has maintained the ministry's determination to continue to work hard and remain committed to the task of diversifying the economy through science, technology and innovation. The minister stated this at the inauguration of chairman and members of boards of parastatals under the supervision of the ministry, with a charge of working together in the pursuit of success. Justin Bemuni reports.
That I hereby formally inaugurate the chairman and members of boards of the respective agencies under the supervision of the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology.
As the minister inaugurates the board, he urges them to join the ministry in the efforts to build a new Nigeria where science, technology and innovation will drive Nigeria's journey to a knowledge-based and innovation-driven economy.
It is also important that you carefully study the National Strategy for Competitiveness in Raw Materials and Products Development recently approved by the Federal Executive Council. It is a landmark document that will ensure that we use our own raw materials to stimulate sustainable development. This will help Nigeria confront and defeat the challenges posed to our economy by the unnecessary shifts in global production and trade patterns.
The minister appealed to the new board, chairman and members to work closely with the management team of their parastatals to achieve common objectives for the good of Nigeria. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
Critical stakeholders in Nigeria's health sector are calling for concerted efforts to ensure sustainable immunization financing in the country. They were speaking at a breakfast meeting organized by Women Advocates for Vaccine Access, WAVA. Victor Azu reports that the meeting was chaired by founder of the Well-Being Foundation Africa and wife of the Senate President, Toyin Saraki.
Since 2001, the Global Alliance for Vaccine and Immunization, Gavi, has been one of the major financiers of Nigeria in vaccines procurement and strengthening of the health systems for effective delivery of immunization services to the tune of over $700 million. Now, with the announcement of a 5-year accelerated exit transition of Gavi funding beginning from 2017, the worry for stakeholders has been how Nigeria can sustain the financing and keep the mortality rate on the decline. With the theme, how can Nigeria achieve sustainable immunization financing in the next decade? This meeting sets out to ensure that the imminent gap is filled. Chairman of the occasion, Mrs. Toyin Saraki, noted that the exit of Gavi will provide Nigeria the opportunity to do the right thing, especially in the area of budgetary allocation to the health sector.
We have to build an ethos of responsibility at every layer and then begin to strengthen the different tiers so that we can cut out wastage, increase revenue, and then deploy it correctly to make sure that immunization gets to our people.
Convener of the Women Advocates for Vaccine Access, Chizoba Wonode, explains the consequences of not filling the gap that the exit of Gavi will create.
We definitely need to ensure that the government and the public and the private sector step up to the plate to fill the gap.
A panel of discussants chaired by Deputy Director, International Vaccine Access Center, Professor Kate O'Brien, concluded that the imminent exit of Gavi requires all hands to be on deck to avoid an increase in mortality rate. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Residents of Ogun State have been reminded of the importance of paying their tax to the state coffers to enable government to execute developmental projects. The state governor, Ibikunle Amosun, emphasized this during a project assessment tour of the 50-kilometer Shango-Akure road under construction. Leko Abonde reports this and other project sites across the 3 senatorial districts of the state.
The 50-kilometer Ijoko-Jodo-Akute road is crucial to the socio-economic drive in Ogun State due to the huge population of the area. Over the years, residents and motorists have faced untold hardship as successive government could not fix the road as a result of huge funds required. The good news is that the present administration chose to tackle the challenge head-on and reconstruct the road. Out of about 70 billion naira estimated, over 20 billion naira has been spent, with about 6 bridges and flyovers at advanced stages of completion. This, the governor says, is in fulfillment of his promise to complete all projects before expiration of his tenure. NTA News caught up with him, spreading the gospel of civic responsibility to residents.
People should cooperate with government, they should pay their taxes.
The era of paying your taxes elsewhere is over, because we are going to toll this road and people will have to pay for using this road.
While reiterating government's commitment to boost socio-economic activities through infrastructural development, the governor also said President Muhammadu Buhari will be invited to come and commission more roads and other infrastructural projects which will outweigh those commissioned in his first term. Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
In its efforts to entrench Islamic values on peace, harmony and tolerance, a religious body, Ahmaduddin Islamic Organization, has established additional base in Abuja with a view to reaching out to many people. Usman Aliyu reports.
Contemporary challenges demand that there is need to do more, especially with the current clash of cultural values that sometimes explode to violence in some parts of the country. This is why Ahmaduddin Islamic Organization comes up with a reorientation crusade for the public good.
We build Imam Training Center. We are going to train our Imam. If we establish either in Bauchi or in Sokoto, in Kano, in Ilorin, in anywhere within the 36 states.
We are preaching against the child abuse.
We are highly overwhelmed, and it has become a source of great development.
Promoting ideals of good governance and patriotism among citizens are also objectives of the organization. Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
The need for Commonwealth to be strengthened to serve the people of the member countries better has been stressed. This was the thrust of Good Morning Nigeria. Lydia Sampson has the report.
The Commonwealth of Nations, referred to as the Commonwealth, is an intergovernmental organization of 53 member states, mostly former British colonies, and it constitutes 2.4 billion